changed channel. They've gone over to TBS for Dynamite. And as a result of this, I don't know if we're on TNT tonight. I think we are. But there's 4 specials a year now. So not only do we get the pay-per-views, not only do we get Dynamite, not only do we get Rampage, but now we get 4 specials a year, 4 TV specials a year that are going to be on a Saturday night. They're only an hour long. So don't expect this to be a pay-per-view. Don't expect this to be, anything massive. I mean, it is a big deal. It kind of reminds me a lot of those Saturday night main events that WWE used to do, which, were brilliant. Some of them were absolutely amazing, and one of them, I don't know if it was a Saturday night main event, or I think it was called The Main Event, was the most watched wrestling show ever. Had like 33 million people tune into it, and that was Hulk Hogan against Andre the Giant. 30-odd million tuned into it, and that was The Main Event. And it was also the first time we saw the Winged Eagle belt, and it's obviously what helped build towards WrestleMania 4. But all of that to one side. It kind of gives me those vibes, gives me those kind of impressions. And there is something very special about wrestling on a Saturday, which I do like. I mean, Saturday is the big night, really. And I don't mind wrestling on a Saturday. I really like it. It just normally doesn't work for me because normally I've got UFC to watch. And there's no UFC this week. So, I mean, it's worked out absolutely brilliantly. No UFC, no major boxing as far as I'm aware of. I need to really look at the boxing schedule, actually, and make sure that any fights that we can do, we are doing. Because I really want to be watching, like, Teofimo Lopez. I want to be watching Cambosis Jr. I want to be watching Canelo. I want to be I want to be where the action is. I want to be watching these big fights. So I am looking at doing more boxing this year. So I want to do more boxing. We're going to keep doing all the UFC. Of course, we're going to try and do like all the WWE pay-per-views. I mean, they moved to a Saturday, which is a big, big problem. Everything's moving to a Saturday, which is just a real issue. So I do like these shows. I'm just a little bit concerned the future ones are going to collide with other things, but we'll worry about that when we get to it. At least we get to watch this one. And I kind of like this one because it's 3 matches. I must admit, 2 of the matches I'm not that bothered about, but the main event I'm quite excited for. Riho against Britt Baker. I expect Britt Baker to retain. And actually, we can do a little poll for that. We might as well pop a little poll and see what people are thinking. So let's click on this. Who do you think leaves as AEW Women's Champion? Because, of course, they're all championship matches tonight. So, Riho, I do like women's matches. I don't know what it is about women's matches. I really like women's matches, and I really like Britt Baker as well. So, I'm looking forward to... There we go. This one. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm not that fussed about Ricky Starks against Matt Sydal because that really feels like it just got thrown on for the sake of being thrown on. I believe that's for the FTW Championship, which is in many ways the forgotten championship. So, not too fussed by that. Then, obviously, we've got Dustin taking on Sammy for the Interim Championship, the Interim TNT Championship. That one, it's a real shame that because, I mean, I like Sammy, and obviously Cody's got wonderful heat at the moment, but Dustin's got no momentum. He hasn't got anything really going for him at the moment, so my only concern with that fight is that it doesn't really mean a great deal. Although, I will say, fair play, they have put an interim championship in there so that at least there's a belt still on the line. And I like interim championships. I think it's something WWE should use more. You are basically the champion whilst the actual champion can't be around. So rather than stripping like Cody of the belt, he remains the champion, but you're just the interim champion until he comes back. So whilst he's off injured, whoever wins in that match is the TNT champion, is the interim champion. As soon as Cody comes back, then the two champions will face each other. It'll be champion versus champion, interim champ versus TNT champ to figure out who is the real champion going forward. So I don't mind that. I think it just gives matches more of a purpose. It kind of means you can do champion versus champion matches, which I think are quite exciting. And I don't mind it. I don't mind that interim thing. Don't mind that interim thing at all. So we've got that tonight. The thing I'm not a fan of is the fact that Dustin Rhodes is the person that's got the opportunity, because I don't really get how he is a number one contender or is in the mix for this. It just really feels like, because Cody was the one that was meant to be, competing, we'll just use Cody's brother. That's how it feels that they've picked Dustin. So that's just a little niggle. But main event I'm really looking forward to, and I think that's probably going to take up the majority of the time, to be honest. So, and I still think that Dustin against Sammy is going to be a really good match. Ricky Starks I like. Matt Sydal doesn't really do it for me, but there's enough to talk about and get our teeth into with this 1 hour special. So thought we would start an hour before. I mean, I'm not aware of any news today. I haven't seen anything today. So you'll have to let me know if there's been anything. What I do have is the scores from Wrestle Kingdom from Dave Meltzer. So I've got the scores for both nights. In fact, yeah, both nights. I don't have the score for night 3, but night 3 wasn't really that important. Night 3 wasn't at the Tokyo Dome, and night 3 was New Japan against Noah. And it was a lot of tag matches, so I don't think night 3 really counts, to be honest. So we've got the scores for night 1 and night 2, and they're very interesting. Very interesting. So we can go through that. Liam White said, what match is first? I believe it's going to be the FTW match. I believe. I'm guessing they're going to work their way up. Although what they might do is they could start with Dustin and Sammy. Give that 20 minutes. Do Ricky Starks, Matt Sydal as a quick little breather thing, just so that people can catch their breath. Because I'm guessing that Sammy's going to, be out there to impress. Dustin, he's a legend. You can always get a good match out of Dustin. But I think it'll be more a showcase for Sammy to show what he can do. 100% I expect Sammy to win that match, of course. And so if I was booking it, I would do Dustin, Sammy first. Then I would do a little squash Ricky, Matt Sydal match. I mean, honestly, it would just be a 5-minute thing, if that. And then give the main event loads of time. So big open, big ending, squash middle, and that's it. But they might also want to go with Ricky Starks first. Ricky Starks, Matt Sydal. Tell him to go out there and steal the show. Go out there, steal the show, make a name for yourself. Give them, a little bit of time to do that. Then move on to Dustin and Sammy, because it probably has got that co-main event feel about it. I mean, the thing is that it's going to be hard to burn a crowd out in an hour-long show. I mean, for me, this is how long wrestling should be. Hour-long shows, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. This is if you tune in to one of your favourite TV shows, if you tune into, I don't know, Breaking Bad, or Game of Thrones, or Walking Dead, or, Lost, or whatever your favourite show was, or is, chances are it's going to be an hour long. And, with wrestling, I kind of feel like an hour is lovely. I mean, obviously, if you go and see it live, you'd want it to be a bit longer than that. You'd want, 2 hours. But you don't need 2 hours on TV, for Raw, for Dynamite, for SmackDown, for NXT. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot of wrestling. So I like the fact that it's only an hour, to be honest. I kind of like that. So, I mean, I wouldn't have minded if it was 2. But I kind of like the hour. I think that's something I really like about Rampage. Vape Ross Vape said, Noah has been doing tags for 2,000 years. 2x2 arc joke. Boom. Love it. That's a good joke. Tony said, this is a house show for the people in attendance and that all the champions, bar Cody, will be on the card. Hangman is there as well. Amazing. Ring of Honor, MLW, NXT UK, NWA, all an hour and all amazing shows. I love hour-long shows. I mean, I keep thinking back to NXT when that was an hour, and I miss it. I pine for it. I mean, I remember when Raw was an hour, and I pine for that as well. So, yeah, Raw when that was an hour. I mean, I would say it was amazing, but they were still kind of finding their feet. You still need to have stars, and you still need to have interesting matches and feuds and everything. And I think when Raw first started up, it was kind of, struggling. One of the major feuds was that Repo Man stole Macho Man's hat. So, do you know what I mean? Raw has always struggled. It's always struggled. But I do like hour-long shows. But yeah, I mean, look, if you went and saw it live, you would want longer. But I mean, I really don't mind if they were to do, I kind of like that. If you go to Battle of the Belts, they could do this hour now. So they could be doing this hour with other talent, do something with Ty Conti and whoever, in this hour. And then we join as the crowd has been warmed up, kind of gets to that second hour, and we just see, dare I say, the good stuff. The stuff that's worthy of being on TV. So 3 title matches, big main event with Women's Championship on the line, Britt Baker against Riho. And as I said, I'm looking forward to it. Problem with shows being more than an hour is we see matches again most of the time on pay-per-view. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I must admit that AEW have done a very good job of not repeating themselves. They do try and avoid rematches, but you can't really avoid them. And sometimes you might want them as part of a feud. So, I've got no complaints with Hikaru Shida and Serena Deeb. I've really been enjoying those matches. That isn't just doing rematches for the sake of it, in my opinion. They're actually doing that as a feud, and I've really enjoyed those matches. But then I know a lot of people have been talking about, Lucha Bros and FTR that have feuded for a little while. And again, that it could be a case that that's just an ongoing feud. But that one has felt a little bit more like there's been the odd kind of rematch dropped in for the sake of it. But by and large, AEW, I have to give them credit. Absolutely miles better than WWE when it comes to not giving us rematches, endless rematches and things like that. And also, to a degree, pointless matches. You do get a fair few tag matches in AEW that I don't really need, but a lot of matches tend to have a purpose. So yeah, I mean, they do a decent job. They really do when it comes to putting together a card with matches that the fans want to see. I think they do a pretty good job. And I mean, look, if tonight had been Cody versus Sammy, which is what it was meant to be, then, you'd look at this card and say, that's not too bad. I do think the Ricky Starks one was just chucked on, though. I must admit, I do think Ricky Starks against Matt Sydal was just kind of thrown on. Personally, I would have been more excited if they'd have done Britt versus Riho, Cody versus Sammy, and then Hook. It makes sense. Do that. Open the show with Cody and Sammy, which obviously you can't now. But so find a better replacement than Dustin. Then go to the middle match being Hook, because he ain't going to take long, is he? I mean, he's just killing everyone. So have him kill someone else and have him look good, but on a Saturday night. Amazing. And then main event of Britt versus Riho. So I think that's what I would have done. But I'm quite happy with this card. I'm quite happy with this. If 1 hour shows these days were title match feuds and a few storyline developments, I would love it. But Rampage just give us 6-man tag matches most week with little storyline development. Yeah, I think the thing with Rampage is I think they now really know what Rampage is about. In regards to when they first got it, I think they were putting on like big main events, and I think they were trying to book the hour. And I think now, to be honest, they've very quickly realised that the best segment is the first segment, and then after that point, the ratings go down. So it's kind of, in a way, very similar to other shows. Like, you tend to start off hot, and then throughout the show, it like gradually fades away. It seems like the drop-off is quite extreme when it comes to Rampage. So, people will tune in, but they won't make it to the end of the hour, believe it or not. So, I kind of think they're looking at it now and really just trying to book, like, a big open and, something interesting for a main event. Put some name in that main event, but I don't know now that they're booking, like, the whole hour. It's just the wrong time slot. I mean, if they could get 8 till 9, then I think you would get a great hour. Even if they could get 9 till 10, they would get a great hour. But I believe by the time it starts at 10 o'clock at night, which is, a bit late, isn't it, in truth, on a Friday. So I kind of have a bit of sympathy for them in regards to that. Although, I mean, ECW operated at a horrific time slot, an absolutely horrific time slot, and they've always found like a way of putting on like an engaging hour. But then you could make the argument that if you didn't have Dynamite and it was only Rampage, then obviously that would be an engaging hour as well. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's very interesting. I think they just know now that that first match is key, or the open is key. And then after that, like, people will tail away. WrestleFeed is reporting that WWE is in talks with AEW for future projects. The hell is WrestleFeed? The hell is that? I've never even heard of WrestleFeed. I don't know who that is, and I don't believe that for a second. 10 p.m. late is laughable, considering that's 3 a.m. for us, says James. Yeah, America, you're listening. It's nothing, babies. But also, I do understand. Right, should we have a look at the ratings for New Japan? We're not going to spend too long on this because I know there's not like loads of people that are like New Japan fans. But this is interesting because normally Mr. Meltzer is very kind to New Japan and gives them lots of 5 stars and like really celebrates Wrestle Kingdom and, show of the year and all this kind of stuff. Now, I didn't see it this year. This is the first year in a long, long time that I didn't watch it. And it's amazing that on night 1, there was no 5-star match. Now, I know that sounds crazy, right? I know, trust me, I know that sounds crazy. Like, is that big of a deal, really? No 5-star match. Yes, it is a big deal. They always deliver 5-star matches, multiple 5-star matches, according to Meltzer. And in all fairness, they got close. Shingo against Okada, the main event of night 1, got 4.75. 4.75 for the main event of night 1. So they got close, but they didn't quite get there. And the match before that, El Desperado against Takahashi, 4.25. Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Goto and Yoshihashi, 4.25. But really, those 3 matches saved night 1 by the looks of it, because Ishii versus Evil, 1 star. 1 star. I don't even think he gives those ramble things, those kind of mini battle royal rumble ramble, whatever they're known as things. I don't even think he scores them 1 stars normally. The Ishii versus Evil, 1 star. I find that so surprising. Then Shibata, who's back, taking on Narita, 3.5 stars. Then you've got like Naito, Sanada, and Bushi taking on Ospreay, Great O'Khan, and Jeff Cobb, 3 stars. I mean, I love Naito, so seeing him in that match and not in anything more significant made me sad. 3 stars. Tanahashi, Taguchi, and Rocky Romero versus Kenta, Ishimori, and El Phantasmo, 2.25 stars. And then Yo versus Sho, Roppongi 3K have split up. 3 stars? I mean, it's stunning. I did hear from, like, reading some reports that the first people were, like, one person in particular I saw said they got halfway through night 1, they turned it off. So, looking at how Dave Meltzer scored it, 3 stars, 2.25, 3 stars, 3.5, 1 star. I'd imagine by the time you get into Ishii and Evil and you hit him 1 star, I could imagine people going, I've seen enough. So, really interesting that on night 1, those final 3 matches really came through, but not good enough to deliver them 5 stars. Then we get to night 2, and it seems like night 2 was seems like night 2 delivered more and was a better show. So, it seems like night 1 struggled at the start, really dipped. I don't know what happened with Ishii and Evil, but really dipped there and then came through in the final 3 matches. Then on night 2, Robbie Eagles and Tiger Mask and Ishimori and Phantasmo taking on Taguchi, Rocky Romero, 4 stars. We've got, I think this was a women's match, wasn't it? Wasn't that Mayu and Starlight Kid versus Tam Nakano and Saya Kamitani, 4 stars. I heard the women delivered. And so I think that was I think that was a women's match. Then we've got Evil, Takahashi, and Sho taking on Goto, Yoshihashi, and Yo, 2.5 stars. Then so a little dip there, but then we're starting to build back now. Sanada versus Great O'Khan, 3.25. Naito against Jeff Cobb, 3.75. Kenta versus Tanahashi. Kenta, you might remember, was Hideo Itami. Taking on Tanahashi, 4 stars. And then, boom, here we go. The big one, the main event of night 2. Okada versus Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay, may be the best wrestler in the world. Taking on Okada, who may be the best wrestler in the world. Collide in a match that results in 5.75. There we go. There she is. 5.75 stars for the main event of night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 matches across both nights that were 4 stars or above. Well, 7 if you include the 5.75, and then, of course, that 5.75, which is a match I would like to see, actually. Okada versus Ospreay. I remember James Chadwick saying that it was very good, but maybe wasn't 5.75 worthy. But even so, I can totally believe it being amazing. I can totally believe it being match of the year so far. So if you want to see potentially the real match of the year so far, potentially, because I haven't seen it, then I can totally believe that it would be Okada versus Will Ospreay. So that is night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom. But my takeaway from that is that it definitely feels like a little bit underwhelming compared to usual. Just a little bit underwhelming compared to usual. And certainly some matches that feel like filler. I think, again, we've just said there's about 6 or 7 matches there that were 4 stars or above. 7 if you include the 5.75. If you had just one day rather than 2, there's your Wrestle Kingdom. There's your classic Wrestle Kingdom. It seems like expanding it, isn't giving you 2 days of quality. You're getting filler sneaking in. And I must admit, we've seen that with WrestleMania as well. Since it went to 2 days, we're not getting like 2 days of amazing action. I do like 2 days because it keeps it short. Both days are shorter than just having one day. So you're not getting 2 days of amazing action. There's like filler that gets chucked onto the show. But hopefully this year that won't be the case. They can't really afford filler, I don't think, when they're having to try and satisfy 100,000 people. Yeah, very, very interesting. Very interesting. So if you get a chance, search out Okada versus Will Ospreay, because potentially match of the year. Hasib said, Days, if you watch Ishii versus Evil, oh my god, it was so bad. Ospreay is the best wrestler in the world in his head. It was defo 5 stars. I just don't think 5.75. It seems a bit high. Daniel says, after Bryan, who would you like Hangman to move on to? And do you think Hangman is now done with Bryan after his win? Yeah. I think he's done with him, and he should be done with him because he's beaten him, and that's it. And to Daniel Bryan, who's all about being a legit wrestler, he lost. Fair and square. I know he's a heel, but I think that's it. Yeah, done. He had his opportunity. It was a draw. Then it was a war, and he ended up losing that war. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know where Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson kind of goes from here. Or he'll be fine. He's not buried, but he's definitely just not quite where he needs to be to become champion right now. So. Which I think is probably the right result, to be honest, because what you're saying that, yes, Daniel Bryan is this amazing wrestler, and yes, he's been amazing since he came in, and yes, he's achieved amazing things, but he's not quite good enough to beat Hangman Page, our very own Hangman Page. He's still just that one step behind our current champion, so it's a good message, I suppose, to send out that, AEW is legit. And even one of WWE's best has come over and done really well, but not quite there yet to be our champion. So that's the kind of message that I think it sends out. And I don't think that's a bad message, in all fairness. I haven't got a problem with that message. That's a message that's been, or a story that's been told in wrestling many, many times. Will be told many, many times in the future as well. So hopefully he gets it one day. I think he deserves to. Of course, he deserves to be AEW champion. I think he'd make a great AEW champion. So I'd like for him to get it one day. But I can understand why it wasn't now. Who do I think should be next? Well, it needs to be a heel. A heel's got to take it off Hangman. And I would say Cody. If Cody, I'd love for Cody to come out and go, I hear you. You lot have made your voices loud and clear. I know that you feel like these wrestling companies don't listen to you, but I want you to know that I hear you. I hear your chants. I see your signs. Like, your message has been received. You want me to run for that AEW championship, and I'm going to do it. I've spoke to Tony Khan. My announcement is that I can compete for the AEW World Championship. And actually, not even that, but Hangman, Tony has booked the match. It's you versus me, all out for the AEW champion. And that, oh man, the heat that could generate. Because obviously the fans have an issue with Cody. And on crazy fans of Cody. And imagine if Brandy Rhodes was there applauding and everything. So I'd have Cody. Cody beats Hangman. It'd be nuclear heat. Just keep building that heat. Just keep going. I love it. I absolutely love it. So yeah, I'd have Cody. I'd have Cody be the one that beats Hangman. I don't know if he should feud with him next. But I mean, there's plenty of heels that he can go through until he gets to Cody. But I think Cody should be the one. I know a lot of people would say MJF, but I'd just hold off on MJF a little bit. I would hold off on MJF a little. He doesn't need it, and I think he's about to go into a feud with Wardlow, isn't he? So. Charles said, "Will AEW Battle of the Belts be on TNT or not?" I'm not sure. Is it TNT or is it TBS? It's one of them, isn't it? TNT or TBS. I don't know which one. But it's only an hour long, 3 matches. I'm sure if you've got TNT, you've got TBS as well. I'm sure, like, as far as I know, they're both on cable, I think, in America. I'm watching it on that Fight TV pass in the UK. It's the same thing that you watch Dynamite on. It's the same thing you watch Rampage on. So I'm watching it on there. American flags everywhere. Ultimately leading to Camo Cody versus our ultimate hero, Hook. Hook. TNT. It's on TNT tonight. TNT. Mr. Savior Time said, Days, Seth versus Roman is not official by WWE. Do you think they've just teased the match and they'll have Seth win the Rumble and challenge Roman? That's the way that I would go with that match, yes. I think that, it's really weird. And I still, I've had a little sleep. I've woken up. I still feel exactly the same. It's like, it's a match that I really want, but just not, I don't want it this way. I don't want heel versus heel. I do want Roman Seth, and I do want it at WrestleMania, and I do want Seth to, just kind of turn face first. I want him to turn face first, and I want him to, then surprise Roman with, winning the Rumble or being his challenger or calling him out or whatever it might be. Attacking him or whatever it might be. But I feel like, there needs to be, a story first. I don't really get why Seth would do that to Roman. They're both heels. And I suppose there's no loyalty amongst heels. But, I mean, he's not on the same brand. It's all just really strange, isn't it? It's all weird. So, could it be a swerve? I mean, it could, but it would be a weird swerve. It would be weird, for making us. That would be weird. I kind of think that would be seen as a bit of a dirty tactic by WWE. It'd be seen as a bit cheap. Do you know what I mean? By him walking in there, and he shouldn't even be on that show, it's heavily implied that he is Roman's next challenger, and the way he laughs at him as well is heavily implied. So, I mean, you could tune into next week's SmackDown, and you could have Roman sat there, last week on SmackDown, and we actually see Roman going, right, I see, yeah, no, it sounds great, Seth. I'm not interested in a timeshare right now, but thank you for coming to see me. And Seth's like, look, no problem, I thought you'd be interested, so that's why I stopped by last week, so I'll see you around. And then he gets up and walks away, and then Adam Pearce knocks on the door and goes, would you like to know who your challenger is now? You could absolutely get out of it, but it would be cheap. I think they've made their intentions clear now as to which way this is going. So, do I think that they're going to swerve us? No, I don't think they're going to do that. I don't know. To be honest, I don't even want them to do that. If they do that, then I'm going to be like, that was cheap. I don't know if you've seen Walking Dead, but if you've seen Walking Dead, there was a lot of criticism when one of the characters that people loved, was killed. And there was a lot of criticism. They were like, God, didn't want him to go that way. He had so much to give, and there was a lot of heartache. And then a few episodes later, it turns out he actually had survived, and he came back. And people were even more upset then, because they were like, man, that was cheap. It was cheap. It was really cheap. To do that to us. That's not what Walking Dead normally do. They don't normally tease you and swerve you like that. And it kind of really left a bit of sour taste in people's mouths. Don't do that to us. If you're gonna, because there was people that were legit crying. This is one of the major characters, and there was people that were legit crying. I watched some of the reaction videos, and there's oh my God, when he falls into a load of these walkers, into a load of these zombies, he falls into them, and you actually see him being ripped apart, and you see his organs being pulled out, and he's screaming and everything, and it's pretty graphic stuff. It turns out that he actually, when he fell, someone fell on top of him, and what was being ripped apart was the person that was on top of him. He actually managed to kind of scramble underneath this bin, and it was just really cheap, and it was just really like clickbaity, swervy awfulness. I kind of feel like that would be very comparable to WWE if it turns out that Seth isn't the challenger now. So could they get out of it? Sure. Could they, reveal that he's not actually the challenger, but instead he turned up to have an interesting proposition to Roman or whatever? Sure. There's ways out of it, 100%, but it would feel cheap. It would feel cheap now. I felt like that about 5 times with Walking Dead, says Shola. I think I know what you're talking about. Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, that's all I ask. I just hope that people think they know what I'm talking about. I don't need people to actually know what I'm talking about, but just think they know what I'm talking. I think I understand. I mean, I certainly understand the words, but in that order, I'm struggling, to be honest. I know what you are talking about. He or she is my favourite character. Hangman versus Solo Kamaroto Ogogo. Will you be watching the African Cup of Nations? Do you know, I won't. Do you know, fun fact, no. I have been asked for it a couple of times. Well, there's definitely a little bit of interest there. I might watch the final. But no, I'm not. I'm more focused on like the Euros because obviously England being in it. Plus, also I do feel like the European teams are the powerhouses in world football. So your Spain's, your Italy's, your Germany's, your France. France won it last time, of course. I think England have got a great chance coming up to the World Cup as well. Whereas with the African nations, does definitely feel like they're a little bit behind. So, no, I would struggle with their teams, their players. My knowledge would be very limited. I'd only really know, like, the Premier League players that were there. But, yeah, I mean, we could probably tune into the final, see who wins the final. I would like to watch the final, in all fairness, just to get a flavour of it. I've never watched the AFCON. But something tells me it's more than likely going to collide with something else that we're going to do. Probably going to collide with Premier League, or it'll collide with UFC. So we'll see. We'll see if we can do the final or not. Tom Phillips is with Impact now. Wow. Don't hold that against him. Days, 2 questions. Should on the show tonight, and thoughts on Mickey in the 2022 Rumble. 2 questions. Should on the show tonight. What? Should on the show tonight. What? Mickey in the Rumble. Mickey in the Rumble. I think they needed a legend. They went to Impact and said, "Can we have Mickey?" And Impact went, "Yeah, but you've got to mention us on your show." And they went, "Do we have to?" And they went, "Yep." And they went, fine." And I think that's what happened. Seth Rollins teased the face turn after SmackDown went off the air because the Usos attacked him and Seth fought back and stomped them and got the burn it down chance, and he got a huge pop by the crowd, said Mr. Saviour Time. No, I didn't know that. I didn't know there was a little something afterwards. Are you doing the Super Bowl? Yeah, I think we'll do the Super Bowl. We did it last year, so I think we can find... It's Super Bowl Sunday, isn't it? And Sunday's a bit quieter. Sunday, we tend to be quite free. We do have Premier League, but obviously the Super Bowl tends to be on the night. But in all fairness, I need to watch this year, because isn't the halftime show like Dre and Friends? So I definitely want to be watching that. So, yeah, we'll watch it. Do we know who's there yet? It's a bit early, isn't it, to know who's actually there yet? So, I don't know. Let's have a look. What's happening with the Super Bowl? Super Bowl 2022. Super Bowl 20... Who has the Super Bowl? Oh, yeah, where is it? SoFi. Wow, I haven't seen the new SoFi Stadium. That's cool. So the halftime show is Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar. pretty impressive. Right, current odds. Current odds as to who's going to win. Right, Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers at current odds plus 450. Kansas City Chiefs at plus 450 as well. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at plus 650. New England Patriots at plus 1,000. LA Rams at plus 1,000. The Buffalo Bills at plus 1,100. Why are the Dallas Cowboys so bad? I thought the Dallas Cowboys were like meant to be amazing. Like, I've heard of the Dallas Cowboys, and surely they've got an amazing stadium. Like, is it AT&T? Maybe, I don't know. But like Dallas, everything's bigger in Dallas, and I've heard of the Dallas Cowboys, and I've heard of their cheerleaders and all of this, but they never seem to be at the Super Bowl. Like, they just never seem to be there. Rubbish. Same in Miami Dolphins. I've heard of them. Why are they no good? What's going on? Conspiracy. That's what I'm telling you. Flipping conspiracy. Arizona Cardinals at plus 1,600. Indianapolis Colts. Don't know what a Colt is. At plus 2,000. Tennessee Titans. Remember the Titans. At plus 2,500. So they're saying that it looks like Green Bay Packers, Kansas City Chiefs, Tampa. Looking like it's going to be them teams. Amazon should sponsor the Green Bay Packers, and then they could be known as the Green Bay Amazon Packers. That would be good. Good sponsorship. You'd make money from that. So I think that Green Bay... Didn't Kansas City Chiefs lose last year to Tampa? So Kansas City Chiefs, Tampa, Green Bay Packers. I might support the Green Bay Packers. I might support them. So, yeah, I'll do it. But, cut a long story short, I'll do it over on the Football Days channel. So, we'll do it over at Football Days. The Cowboys are pretty good. They've got a decent chance of making it to the Super Bowl. Well, we'll see. We'll see. The Wrestling Matrix. Shout out to you. Very on trend. Hope you are well, my friend. Said, what's up? I'm a new subscriber to the channel. Welcome. So you're the new subscriber. Welcome. Do you believe that Jade Cargill is being pushed too fast? I don't think she should have beaten Ruby Soho. Oh, wow. That's a really interesting point. That's a really interesting point. Is Jade Cargill being pushed too fast? It's really interesting, that one, because I'm a little torn on it, because I think that she looks very impressive. She looks like $1 billion. She looks exactly like you would what your women's champion should look like. She's big, she's strong, she's very attractive. She's got everything. She's got everything. Promo wise, she can cut a great promo. She's got a good height to her. She's got a good build. She's definitely green in the ring. There's no escaping that. So her in-ring is, underwhelming and really needs to develop quite quickly. But, she's gaining that experience. And I think the story they're trying to tell is that she's this unstoppable monster. I mean, I think they are giving her that undefeated streak. I think they're having her run through the women's division. I mean, I think she's now something like 7-0, 9-0. So the problem is that if she's not gonna, if you want to keep her undefeated, then she couldn't have entered that tournament in the first place. I've got a feeling that this mid-card women's title, they're looking at putting it on her because it means that Ruby, I suppose Ruby could go on and become the women's champion. And she, it means that Britt can have a longer title reign. So, there's things that you can do with the women's title, and you can just leave that mid-card women's belt on Jade for a long time now. Like, there's no need for her to drop that. 6 months' time, she could still be holding that belt. Easy. Easy. Dare I say, 12 months' time, she could still be holding that belt. I think she's going to have a very big, very successful year. At some point this year, I think she will be defeated. So I'm not sure she'll make 12 months, but I think she'll do 6 with being women's champion, that TBS women's champion. So I think, is she being pushed too soon? Maybe, but I think that's it now. I mean, I think now she's going to keep winning. She's going to keep being undefeated for a while, but she's not being pushed towards anything more now. Now it's kind of, I don't mind it, to be honest. I don't mind it. I wish it hadn't have been against Ruby in the final, because I think Ruby, I'm torn because I think Ruby probably should have won that match. I don't think Ruby should have been in that match, if I'm being honest, because I think that, should Thunder Rosa have lost to Jade Cargill? Should Ruby have lost to Jade Cargill? Like, it's very hard to hide how green she is, and it's very hard to make it seem like realistically they would have lost to her, because I think realistically they would have stretched her and beaten her. She is powerful, she is big, but obviously, we've seen in UFC that doesn't count for everything. So the fact she's so green, I think someone with Thunder Rosa's experience and, more importantly, MMA background, she's trained extensively in MMA and had an MMA fight in the past. Kind of feel that Thunder Rosa would have, should have beaten Jade. It just doesn't look great if someone that green is beating you. It just doesn't look great. That's my problem. I don't care if she beats like the Bunny, or Penelope Ford, or Ty Conti, or Anna Jay. Like, I don't give a flip, right? But when it comes to people that realistically, could be women's champion, could go on and carry that division forwards, then like Thunder Rosa, like Ruby Soho, then I'd start to have a problem with it. Then, yeah, I do agree. So what I'll say is I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not crazy about it. It's hard to find a different way of doing it unless you were going to just not have them women in the tournament. But I think that's it now. I think now that she is champion, she'll keep winning. She'll stay undefeated. She'll hold that title for a while. But she's not now she is being pushed, I suppose, but she's not being pushed to like a new level. Now she's kind of reached like the mountaintop. There's other mountains to climb, like go on and become women's champion, for example. But right now, she's at the top of this mountain, this TBS mid-card mountain. I think she stays there for a while now. So I think she stays there. Wrestling Matrix said, I feel like Ruby should have won. Jade has a lot of potential, but I think you can tell that she is green. I think Thunder will be the one to beat Britt Baker. I agree with that. I mean, their match is obviously one of the most iconic from last year, Thunder and Britt. So I think Thunder, Britt, Ruby are, dare I say, Chris Statlander, maybe. She kind of feels like she's really fallen off, though, Chris Statlander. She was a real contender in the past, and then she got injured. Since she's come back from injury, she hasn't really felt as big to me. So I don't know. I don't know if like Chris Statlander's still in the mix or not anymore. But I still like her. I still think she's a great talent. So, yeah, I kind of definitely Ruby, definitely Thunder Rosa. I think either of them are great challenges for Britt Baker. I expect Britt to get past Riho tonight and then, move on to potentially one of those. Potentially. But I think we've seen Ruby getting beaten up, haven't we? Didn't Jamie Hayter beat up Ruby? So I feel like Ruby might actually be next in line. So I honestly don't mind if Britt drops it to Ruby. But because of how great that match was last year between Thunder Rosa and Britt, there's every chance that we could see Thunder Rosa be the one to finally do it. Either way, either of them I don't mind. But yeah, I think Jade's just got to the top of the mountain now. She's done what she's needed to do. It's all right. I wish it hadn't been them that she'd beaten. I mean, she literally beat the two biggest baby faces in my mind. She literally beat, like, Ruby and Thunder Rosa in order to win that title. So, I mean, I suppose in a way it makes it legit. She's definitely a legit champion because she beat them. But I think that because her match quality is so poor, you look at it and you go, she probably shouldn't have beaten them. Like, really, Thunder Rosa shouldn't be losing to someone that green. It's just not a great reflection on Thunder Rosa. It's not something that's, like, going to hurt Thunder Rosa, and it's not something that's going to, like, necessarily hurt Ruby Soho going forward, but just momentarily, it's just like, it's just makes it a bit sour for a moment. But, you know, you take it, you move on. I understand why they did it, and I do like Jade. I must admit, I do like Jade. I think what you see is you see the potential. You see someone that, you know, is green, but we'll get there, I think, you know, with the talent that's around. I mean, honestly, Serena Deeb, they just need to get Serena Deeb with Jade backstage, just get her working. She probably is. So, I mean, Serena Deeb used to do coaching at NXT. She's one of, if not the best women's wrestlers in the world right now. I genuinely believe that. I don't think there's anyone on the WWE roster, women's wise, that I think is better than Serena Deeb. Genuinely. I mean, I might throw in an Asuka, but obviously she's out injured at the moment. I might throw in a oh god, what's her name down in NXT? I really rate her. She was in that tag team with Io. She's out injured with I think, is it an arm injury at the moment? Zoe Stark. I really rate her. I think she's brilliant. She's probably like WWE's Serena Deeb. So both, like, you know. Anyway, Serena Deeb should just get a hold of Jade and just keep working with her, you know. And you know, it's just experience, and it's going to take time. But I suppose in a way, now they've got the belt on her, she can just have matches, keep winning by count out or win by DQ, and you know, she doesn't have to keep beating people clean. So it protects them and it keeps the belt on her, and it's a good way of keeping her in the spotlight, gives her something to brag about. It's win-win. So, yeah, good point, though. Really, really good point. Like, it's kind of, I can see why it would upset people, and I can see why people are all right with it. So, Wrestling Matrix, shout out to you. Welcome. Days, how far do you think Cody's gimmick is going to evolve? Said Myho. I love it, man. I love it. It's one of my favorite things in wrestling right now. When it's time for Cody's segment, I get really excited. Because I am fully on board with the fans wanting him to be heel and him not wanting to be heel, and him, like, I feel like that is the story. He is a heel that doesn't want to accept he's a heel. He's a heel that's desperately trying to get the fans to believe he's a face. And, you know, he's acting like a face and he's doing face promos, but deep inside we know he's really upset with the fans. We know that he feels betrayed. You know, when that weight belt got thrown back, we know that hurt him. Like, he's definitely feeling some stuff deep inside, but he's keeping a smile on his face. He's trying to do the right thing, and I feel like you've got to keep milking that. As I said earlier, you know, I mean, just have him be tone deaf to the audience. Just have him read the audience completely wrong repeatedly. Like I said earlier, have him come out and announce that he's heard the fans. He's seen the signs. He knows that they desperately want him to compete for that AEW title, and that he spoke to Tony, and Tony said that it's done. You know, he's more than earned his opportunity at that belt, and, you know, all this kind of stuff. And, you know, the fact that he beat Sammy for the TNT title on Christmas Day. Oh my God, I loved that. I loved it. I mean, you know that Twitter was going to go into meltdown. You know that Twitter people love Sammy. So, you know, Cody, I mean, what did he do? He was in a match. Of course he's going to battle to win that match. So, I mean, technically he didn't do anything wrong. He was in a match. He battled to win and he won. And so he's not really hasn't done anything wrong. But How dare he? How dare he win against Sammy on Christmas? So I thought that was great. I want him to be like really excited about announcing a new Rhodes on the top and saying that he's managed to organize a sneak peek and then play a sneak peek on the show. And do you know what I mean? Like, the only thing is, though, people will boo that, and I don't think the producers of Rhodes at the top will be appreciative. Or if there's not, I don't even know if there's going to be another series because it was not, viewed very well. So if there's not another series of Rhodes at the top, why doesn't he do that? Why doesn't he film? Why don't AEW film a trailer for season 2? And Cody's got a massive announcement. Cody's massive earth-shattering announcement. He can even put in a few teases that he's going to retire. Put in a few teases, leak something to Sean Ross Sapp or Meltzer that this injury to Cody is pretty bad. We think he's going to have to wrap it up. We think he's going to have to retire. Or something along these lines. And, word could get out that hearing some noises from AEW that Cody's might have to wrap up his career. That'll go around everywhere. Everyone will be like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden, Cody's got a big announcement to make on Dynamite. Tune into Dynamite. And it turns out that Cody's absolutely fine and he just wants to show us the trailer for season 2 of Rhodes to the Top. And he could throw out Rhodes to the Top t-shirts into the crowd. Oh my God. This is what I need. I need this. Plug that into my veins. I want to see the reaction on Twitter. I want to see, people melt down as Cody's big announcement that we all think is him that's going to retire turns out to be season 2 of Rhodes to the Top, and we get to see and the trailer is extra cringe. The trailer's got extra brandy. Rhodes to the Top now with more brandy. God, honestly, I would love to write for that. I would love to be a creative writer for AEW and I would just say, put me on the Cody segments. I just want to write the Cody segments. That's all I want to do. Just let me write the Cody bits. I love it, man. Yeah, so how far do I think they'll go? My answer is not far enough. That's how far I think they'll go. Not far enough. I think they need to just make it tone deaf. Make it seem like he's delusional. Make it seem like the crowd are booing him, but he hears cheers. Do you know what I mean? The crowd are hating on him, but he's just not seeing it. He just, okay, there's the odd person that doesn't like me, but they love me. I'm Dusty Rhodes' son. I helped set this company up. They love me. Do you know what I mean? And just have him be tone deaf. And, the more he does, the more it winds people up. And, God, you'd have a massive heel. I'd love it. I would love it. I heard that Moxley returns tonight. Boy said, F Rhodes to the Top. Yeah, F it. Daniel said, Tony came out and said Deem coaches 90% of women's matches and even some of the men's matches on pay-per-views. Does she? She's I didn't know. I thought she'd be doing some coaching behind the scenes, in all fairness. But I think she probably needs to spend some extra time with Jade. So, I thought she probably would be doing some coaching behind the scenes. I didn't know she'd be doing the men's matches as well, though. Honestly, you might as well call her Serena Hart, because she very much like a Hart, the way that she competes, the way she wrestles, the way that she operates, kind of goes through the motions, goes through the match, the pacing of the match. Honestly, I half expected to do that bump, that spot where she gets thrown into the corner and she charges in chest first. That used to be a Hitman special, wasn't it? Bret Hart always used to get Irish whipped into the corner and you'd take it take that bump chest first. I always used to see Bret do that. I'm surprised she doesn't do that in homage to him. So, yeah. I love her, though. She's brilliant. Austin said Serena Deeb is great. I know, dude. I know. You can get a t-shirt of the Professor. So just so you know, Austin, there's one out there. In fact, when I start the Wrestling Days t-shirt club, that'll be the first shirt. Will be the Serena Deeb one. Right, here we go. Battle of the Belts. We are live at the Bojangles Coliseum. The greatest of all the Coliseums. So, okay, so TNT title match first. It's probably the right thing to do, isn't it? TNT Championship. The Enforcer on Anderson. Glock Anderson. Coming out with Dustin. Dustin Rhodes versus Sammy. Oh, flip. Dustin Rhodes versus Sammy. Here we go. The Spanish God. Cody going back on his promise not to challenge for the AEW World title and not acknowledging he set that rule 2 years ago would be great. Would be great. Cody and Brandy, AEW serial. That would be great. Yeah, that would be it. That's a great idea. Cody and Brandy, and you could have their faces as cartoon pictures on the cover. And then it's all just little Codys and little Brandys, like marshmallow shaped pieces in with just normal cereal. Available, coming soon. Yeah, that would be good. Just really tone deaf to what the audience want. The audience do not want Brandy Rhodes, so you give them more Brandy Rhodes. Like, whatever the audience don't want, you just lean into that. Humpy Wheeler? Humpy Wheeler? Humpy. I don't understand. Mr. and Mrs. Wheeler, yeah, when they had their little beautiful baby boy, were clearly drinking. And at what point did they go, what should we call him? Should we call him Steve? Should we call him Ted? Should we call him John? Should we call him... No, let's go with Humpy. Let's go with Humpy. I'm sorry, what? You want to call our child Humpy? No. I am calling our child Humpy, and actually I've written it on the form and already submitted it. Humpy Wheeler. He sounds like a wrestler, doesn't he? Humpy. Humpy is all elite. Can't believe they got Humpy in the crowd. It's amazing. Right, we are underway with Dustin and Sammy. Dustin going against the ropes, grabbing Sammy. Nice little handshake, show respect between the two. Arm drag. Hip toss. Kick out by Dustin. Kip up by Sammy. Dustin standing over Sammy. I heard the other day, I was watching I can't remember what it was now. I don't know if it was a Grilling with JR podcast or something, but it was definitely a podcast. And, I think it was Cornette. Cornette was saying that Hogan didn't want to have a match. The question was, did Hogan ever refuse to work with anyone, Hulk Hogan? And the answer really surprised me. The answer was Dustin Rhodes. Yeah. Did Hogan ever refuse to work? I mean, in fairness, he probably refused to work with a lot of people. He was very protective over his image and his character. He certainly wouldn't lose to a people. It was very rare that Hogan was willing to lose. Like, that's what made the Ultimate Warrior win at WrestleMania 6 such a significant moment. Even when he lost to Andre, it was all, smoke and mirrors. Dustin taking a breather. And Sammy goes for a little lie down over in the corner. Yeah, I mean, JR's like, what's going on here? The way JR said that, I think he was a little bit miffed. The way, what's going on here? What's going on here? What are we seeing? Basically, they were like working quite a fast-paced match, and Dustin's like, it's a little comedy sort of spot, which, and again, he's taking deep breaths. I do agree. I don't think we necessarily need this in the match. But anyway, apparently Dustin Rhodes is someone he refused to work with because he didn't feel like he was quite good enough to work with Hulk Hogan. He was young and, didn't have like a great physique. Quite tall, blonde. Don't know that he felt threatened. He probably did just look at him and go, no, I can't draw much money with this guy. I could understand that. I mean, obviously, they give him an outrageous character and he gets massively over. Oh, nice, Sammy. Sammy goes over to Arn, says a few words, shakes his head. Yeah. I know you. Yeah. You're the Glock man. Chop's coming in. That has to be one of the best programs, doesn't it? Hogan did not want to work with Goldust. Wasn't Dustin as we see him. It was the gimmick. Don't know. I don't know is the answer. I can only tell you what I heard, and Dustin is what I was told. That's what Cornette said. He said Dustin. He didn't say Goldust. And he was Dustin in WWE when he first came in. So he came in as Dustin Rhodes because he actually worked the Royal Rumble in a tag match with his dad. So he did come in as Dustin. So in my mind, it's around that time. Because in all fairness, when it was Goldust, Hogan wasn't there. Hogan wasn't in WWE when Goldust came in. I mean, maybe Hogan and Goldust cross paths in the early 2000s, but I didn't get the impression that that's what Cornette was talking about, because I don't know that Cornette would have been there to have told that story. So I think it might have been early 90s when Dustin first came into WWF, because he actually came in. I think he ended up going away. I mean, look, he came and went in WWE a number of times. I don't even know how many times he came in and out of WWE. I mean, it was, he came in as Goldust and then obviously went off to be Seven and then ended up coming back and then went away again. So, yeah, he kept coming back and forth. But I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I think it is Dustin and not Goldust. But could it turn out to be Goldust? Wouldn't be the craziest thing. That was a weird way to beat a 10 count. I don't know. At the moment, we're on the outside. We've got Sammy down on one knee. They cross paths in WCW, Hogan and Dustin. Perhaps it was in there then. Could it have been there? He didn't. He didn't go into the detail of when it was. He just said Dustin, and he said, they then speculated as to why. Goldust was in a diaper. It was a weird gimmick. The Ramon Goldust angles were hilarious. Makes sense either way. Yeah. Yeah, I could understand if it was Goldust, definitely why he wouldn't want to. I mean, I think it made quite a few people uncomfortable, certainly in the early days. As it got later, it got more comedy. Strikes coming in by Dustin. I think it's their dueling chance. Let's go Dustin. Let's go Sammy. Sammy against the ropes. Nice snap power slam. Yeah, he's very good at that. He's got Sammy in the corner looking for a chop. Delivers a big chop. So, Dustin in control. Hogan, Dustin, WCW 2000. David said, does the interim champ automatically get first shot at the legit champ when they return? Yeah. Yeah, because you don't want the two floating around. So, I mean, I couldn't guarantee that it's the very next opponent, but yes, they don't tend to have the two champions floating around. The whole reason to do an interim is because the actual champ can't defend. So when the actual champ's back, then, yes, that person is basically the number one contender. He can't gold dust. Also opens doors, load of surprises. What year did Hogan leave? I'm pretty sure Goldust debuted in 95. Hogan left in 93. And he went to do, I think, wasn't it Trouble in Paradise? And then whilst he was away, WCW came and offered him a load of money. And he ended up signing for them, I think, in 94. So, Hogan was gone from 93. I think he goes King of the Ring, doesn't he? King of the Ring is the last time I saw him, when he was against Yokozuna and the camera explodes. That, to me, is the death of Hulkamania. No doubt in my mind whatsoever, Hulkamania died when Yokozuna had that match with him at King of the Ring. I never watched WCW when I was young, so whatever he was doing in WCW, I never saw. So in my mind, that's when Hogan went. Obviously, Hogan comes back is it 2002? Is it? I can't remember if it's 01 or 02. But obviously, I mean, it's after WCW have gone. I think it's like 02. I want to say it's like No Way Out. But, yeah, he comes back then. But he comes back as NWO. And then, of course, we build towards Hogan and The Rock. And he's meant to be the heel, isn't he? And then, he gets such great reaction. It's very apparent there's still something there. It's very apparent that he's still massively over. And so, it just kind of evolves from that then. So, Crossroads. Crossroads by Dustin. Dustin thought he had the 3. Could we see Cody versus Dustin rematch? I don't think they would, to be honest. I don't think they would, just because, I think they've already had their masterpiece. I don't think that can be bettered. And it's a couple of years down the road since that match now, and kind of think Dustin's gonna, is only gonna be even slower. Lovely Code Red to kick out by Sammy. Code Red by Dustin. Sammy's having to work really hard here because Dustin legit is blowing up. I don't know if he's just playing and exaggerating being an old man, But the way he's acting, it seems like he's genuinely feeling it. If he is just selling, he's doing a brilliant job. But like, it tends to be that Dustin up on the shoulders of Sammy. GTH. 1, 2. I wouldn't have had him kick out of that. I wouldn't have had him kick out of that. Dustin kicks out. Was that Fuego? Fuego from underneath the ring, setting up a table. I'm upset for Triple H. Those who he likes started to get released nowadays by Vince. Max said, I thought that was it. Triple H has been buried. Ah! He's like, do you want me to get it? Arn's like, you want me to get this, do you? I will. I'll pull it out. I'll pull it out. Fuego running away. Defcon Prime, Eric DeRigi said, I'm getting McDonald's. Do you want anything? Nah, not for me, bud. I'm really trying to stay healthy. Destroyer through a table on the outside. This match is getting a lot of time, isn't it? 17 minutes gone. I mean, it's impressive from Dustin. Big guy as well, in order for him to do that. Canadian Destroyer. This is awesome, chant. One, two. Shoulder up by Sammy. Commentator literally said Fuego wants no part of armed Anderson. Hayden said through the table, Crossroads. He's got him again, so Crossroads, second Crossroads. And he's grabbing him for a third Crossroads. Going for a pedigree. Sammy, super kick coming back by Dustin. Double clothesline, both guys go down. Great opening match on Hard to Kill. This could be it. McDonald's have salads. I don't need a salad. Funny to think Stunning Steve was still in WCW when Hogan joined. He narrowly missed all of that NWO craziness. That's true, isn't it? That's true. Yeah, very true. Dustin trying to hook the legs. 2. Reverse by Sammy. 1, 2. Reverse by Dustin. 2. Reverse by Sammy. 2, 3. And he gets it. Sammy wins. And it's over. How long is this match going to be? It's done. 20 minutes. Sammy is the interim TNT champion. His AEW singles record is 25-14. I thought it'd be more impressive than that. Here's the interim title. There we go. The salads at McDonald's are worse than the Big Mac and fries. Roll Up City. Match of the night so far. The unification match with Cody is looming. Right, those two embrace. Dustin leaves the ring. Daniel Garcia or Dante Martin, whoever, getting in the face of Sammy. When I say getting in the face, I mean he had his head here, actually in his face. He was like, doing this. We've got a brawl! Yes, 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 yes. It was like this. Very aggressive. Boom, we're back. Didn't like it. They went off with me. It's because I was too aggressive. There goes Days trying to turn Dante Martin heel again. JR sounds so tired. He's been through a lot of treatment, hasn't he? So that's some brawl. I missed the brawl counter. That felt like a shoot. Looked like they were really going at it. Brawly brawl. Right, next up is going to be Ricky Starks against Matt Sydal for the FT Dub Championship. We are just at commercial break. Versus Matt Sydal. Battle of the Belts. Daze, what's your opinions on Samoa Joe? I love Samoa Joe. Ba-bum, bum, bum. Ba-bum. He's got a great entrance music. He's a bad man. I must admit, I didn't like him when he was in TNA. Whenever I saw him, I was like, oh, he looks out of shape, man. Like, I just didn't get it. I didn't get, like, you seeing, like, you know, all these really great, ripped people, and then, like, Samoa Joe. I mean, he does stand out. I was like, doesn't he, like, blow up during matches? Like, but, I mean, no, his conditioning's amazing. His cardio's brilliant. Like, he's just a bad man, isn't he? So, I've really grown to respect Joe since I've watched him more since he joined NXT. Because I'm sure he was brilliant in TNA, but I just never used to watch. So, I like him. I really like him. I'm gutted that he's gone. But I just think he's too injured. I think that it's really difficult. Really, really difficult. I don't know. Why is that light gone off? Oh, my God. Well, that's annoying. That's never happened before. Just turned off for some reason, the light in front of me. That's never, ever in all the history of streaming done that before. I've got this. Good job I got this remote, though. Nice. So, living the high life over here. So, oh my God, what if that's a spirit? What if that's a spirit? What if that's the ghost of Samoa Joe? Like, that snuck into the... What about, oh my God, what if Samoa Joe's ghost came into this room and turned that light off just because I said I thought he was a little bit fat in TNA? I'm sorry, Joe! I'm sorry! Forgive me, Joe! Didn't mean it. I mean, I grew to really like him in WWE. And I get why he's been released, though, because I don't think it's anything to do with his wrestling ability. I just think he's, you know, at this stage in his career, he's basically made of glass. And I think that's shown. I mean, they released him, brought him back, and then he got injured again. So I think he's just in a really bad place in regards to actually wrestling. And I think they've looked at it and gone, we don't need him as a commentator. Although they flipping do need him as a commentator. Because the commentators they've got, they need Joe. Joe was brilliant. I love Joe on commentary. So, Joe, I think, can do a few. As GM, he'd be brilliant. As commentator, he'd be brilliant. In that enforcer role, someone that has an occasional match. I was saying, have him as GM of AEW. Could be a really interesting story, couldn't it? Really interesting. If he turned up and said, I'm the GM of this brand now. Have, like, Cody laugh at him, or the Bucks laugh at him, or Kenny laugh at him. And go, I think you'll find we're executive vice presidents. We'll tell you what to do. And he goes, I literally answer to Tony Khan, and that's it. I answer to no one. Like, it could be really interesting. Really interesting. So, I don't mind if he goes to AEW, but I think his days of being an in-ring competitor are coming to an end, I think. Unless he can get whatever's, these little niggles and everything. But I think he's took too much punishment. I think it's probably that. The interim title should have been that unfinished belt from a few years ago. Yes. Do you think any return or new wrestlers tonight? No. I don't think they're going to do anything big like that. Joe was brilliant in every role that WWE gave him. That's true. Ngannou versus Garn, who you got? I genuinely don't know. I think my gut is saying Garn. I think Garn's the better fighter, but Ngannou has definitely got the ability to put him away. But I do think that Garn's the better fighter. But I heard this footage that shows Garn dropping Ngannou, like he hits him with a body shot, and apparently Ngannou goes like down to one knee or something in training. So I don't know if that's true. FTW Championship on the line. Powerhouse Hobbs telling wanting to get a seat. Telling Roberts to move out the way. Right, we are underway with match number 2. Ricky Starks against Matt Sydal. Starks in the corner. I think Garn is too technical for me, and his past opponents were all power punchers, so he's got the perfect run to fight with Ngannou. Yeah. I do just think that Ngannou is special. He does have incredible power. I think that he's improved a lot. I mean, beating Stipe is no easy feat at all. You've got to have maximum respect for someone that can do that. But yeah, I mean, it's a hell of a fight, isn't it, for the UFC Heavyweight Championship? Okay, Ricky Starks in control. Days, the top news that I've seen today is that Sasha is injured. Tony Khan and Big Johnny from WWE like one, and Tony K and Big Johnny from WWE like one and other, meaning biography in the works, and a source in, I don't even understand that bit, and a source in WWE said there are no more Borders partnerships. Well, I mean, they're not lying. I think Borders bookshops did close down. So there's no more Borders. There's no more Toys R Us. Although I do think it's on its way back. There's no more Circuit City. Did that same source say that as well? There's no more Kmart. There's no more Woolworths. And there's definitely no more Borders. Ricky has got some cool gear tonight. Ricky in his sparkly pants. He's got some sparkly pants on. Powerhouse Hobbs, they're kind of silverish with, like, gold on. They do look nice, I do agree. They do look nice. Elbow to back of the head, kick to the midsection. I don't think this match is going to go very long. Look at that little swivel of the hips by Ricky Starks. Makes me think of Ravishing Rick Rude. Whenever I see, like, the odd swivel of the hips, I always think of Rick Rude. Bodger and Badger. Borders equals Barnes and Nobles. I could see Samoa Joe in Team Taz. They could tag up. It could cover him up for any deficiencies. Oh, that's true. Put him in a tag team. That way he ain't got to do as much, has he? That's what they've done with Sting. I like that. It's a good idea, that is. Amazon killed everything in the States. It's killed everything around the world. I mean, a lot of shops here as well have shut down because of Amazon. I think, it's took the world by storm, hasn't it? I must admit, I never used Amazon. I never got it. I never understood the appeal of Amazon. But, like, DVDs, CDs, all of that has really struggled since Amazon came along. I never shopped on it, never used it, never got it, never did up until a few years ago. And then since I moved back here, I've just found that it's like, I need to get a new light, I need to get a microphone, I need to get, I got this thing I showed before the other day, this box, this Stream Deck thing. It's just a box with a load of buttons, but apparently it lets you do stuff. Haven't had a chance to set it up yet. Probably take me a week or so to do that, but it gives you the ability to just press a button and, like, something will happen. So you can press a button and, breaking news or whatever. So, like, but I've just found since I've lived here, it's like, I need that. Oh yeah, I need that. I need to get a new green screen. I need to get whatever. I've just been more than ever now. I go on Amazon all the time. But when I used to be at home, and for some reason, like at home, but when I used to be in Southampton, like living on my own, I don't know, I just used to go to the shop. Used to go to the shops, buy what I needed, brought it back. I think, to be honest, I think when I lived in Southampton, I had a job, like working in retail. I could never be home for the deliveries. So I think that was the problem. Like, I was never in. So they could never deliver anything. And I lived in, like, a flat, so there's nowhere to leave anything. If you leave it on the doorstep, it's going to get nicked. So I could never order anything because there was nowhere to leave it. So, to be honest, that was probably a big reason why I never used Amazon. But here, I'm always in, aren't I? So yeah, it's kind of changed everything. I told you that RDA versus Fazeev was announced today. Did you see that RDA versus Fazeev was announced today? I didn't. No, I don't bother with announcements. I don't bother with announcements because so many times that fights get announced and then by the time they get to them, they get called off. I mean, in a normal kind of world, I might get a bit more excited about announcements like that, but just too many times we get to them and they get cancelled now because of COVID. That I literally just focus on what's coming up next week. I just focus on that. So hopefully we get it. Defcon Prime Eric Dorigi says Canada still has Toys R Us. Apparently they are coming back. I heard that they might be coming back to the UK as well. So I don't quite know what's happening with that brand now. It's funny because I actually watched a video on it yesterday. I'm doing a lot of like graphics, making a lot of graphics, doing a lot of things behind the scenes, and nice driver by Matt Sydal, kick out by Ricky Starks. Yeah, I actually watched a video on Toys R Us and their Times Square shop in particular, their Times Square store in New York, because when I went to New York, I went in and had a look around that shop, and it was very impressive. And there's a video on YouTube all about the history of it and it closing down. And like what used to be in the shop and when it opened, the impact it had, some of the events they held there. It's really interesting. Really, really interesting. Sadly, nothing wrestling related in there. I was hoping there would be. Nothing wrestling related. It did get me thinking, though. I definitely had a video camera. When I went to New York. I must have footage of me going into... There must be footage of me in that shop. And that then got me thinking, like... Oh my God, if I could find that footage, I could do a retro toy hunt. I could do a toy hunt from like 2008 or something. I don't even know when I went, but it'd probably be about 2008. I could do a 2008 Times Square toy hunt for a shop that's no longer there. The only problem is, I don't know the footage is going to be that great because I wasn't toy hunting, was I? I was just in tourist mode going, oh, look at all this. But I haven't seen that footage since I've recorded it. I've got footage from all of my trips, to be honest. Every time I've been to America, I've always took a camera. So I've got to find time to go through that footage. I've got to, because I reckon there must be. I know what I do have footage of. I have footage. I know I do. For a fact, I know I do. I have footage of the WWE shop at Niagara Falls that's not there now, because I went to Niagara Falls and I went to that store. I will have footage of that. I have to go through this footage. Ricky Starks wins. Well done to him. Crowd are very quiet. Absolute Ricky Starks. Right, we've got 23 minutes to go. 23 minutes left in this show, and we're getting to our main event of the evening. It is Britt Baker versus Riho. Britt Baker versus Riho. I did a toy hunt for Dave, says William. Very cool. Ronnie said, do you think if Big E had Powerhouse Hobbs gear, it would be more appealing? No. What, that? His dungarees. Lee Moriarty has come down, and in this second match, we have got a brawl! Yes, 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 yes. Here's Danny Garcia. Oh my God. Daniel Garcia face to face with Powerhouse Hobbs. Unbelievable scenes. Enziguri, dropkick. Powerhouse Hobbs goes out the ring. Wait till Wednesday, Hobbs. We want Hook. Dante Martin again. Wasn't he just on? He's everywhere, mate. They are pushing him to the moon. There we go. I think he changed his shirt, though, in all fairness, to try and trick you, make you think it's someone different. CM Punk versus Wardlow. Wow. Powerhouse Hobbs against Dante Martin. Hikaru Shida against Serena Deeb. Sammy Guevara versus Daniel Garcia. Dante Martin again. There's a lot happening next week. There's a lot going down in AEW town. Send Hook. Riho, Britt Baker. That match was definitely a match that happened tonight. I think we can all agree on that. That last match was definitely a match that happened. I mean, I saw it. No one can deny that. Hook fixes everything. Jason said this is a lame show. No star power. Days, no FX box yet. I'm ready for breaking news. Nah, I haven't got it set up, to be honest. I don't quite know when I'll get a chance to do it. I won't get a chance tonight. Maybe I might get some time tomorrow night. Maybe. But yeah, I've got a few things I need to get done tonight. I've got a bit of time in a way, so I probably should use it. I mean, normally I've got UFC on right now. Battle of the Belts. Hashtag no star power. Braun Strowman just posted him by AEW wrestler. I think they should have Hook show up every 3 weeks, just so they don't overexpose it and it feels special when he shows up. Is this ultimately leading to Dante Martin besting Ricky Starks for the FTW title? I don't know what they're doing with the FTW title. I mean, it might be that he could beat him for it. It could also be that they just want to get it defended, because we haven't been seeing it, have we? Unless it's been defended on Dark or Elevation or something. 19 minutes we've got left. Austin said, I always love seeing Britt Baker main event in a show. I like her. I like Britt Baker. She always puts on good matches. Riho's capable of good matches as well, so should be fun. Just maybe a little bit of a shame they haven't got as much time as I would have liked. Do you know what I mean? By the time we get back from this commercial break and they've done entrances, we're only looking at around about, 12 minutes? Something like that. I have to make sure I don't overexpose too, says Miss Clownmon. Absolutely. If champions aren't wrestling other champions, how can it be Battle of the Belts? It's a very good point. It's a very, very good point. Battle of the Belts. I can't believe they're using the word belts. Unbelievable. Who cares about Dante Martin? Why do they push jobbers when they have stars like Punk, Sting, Christian, Darby, Bryan, Hangman? Well, I suppose the thing is, the only reason they've got Darby and Hangman in particular is because they push them. I mean, those two are like homemade, if you will. And so it looks like with Dante, they definitely see someone that could be, next in line. I think they really like him as a star, but also he's in a tag team, isn't he? It's just his partner's out injured at the moment. So I think they like that team as well. Is it Top Flight? Is he in Top Flight? He is now. Top Flight. Why don't they just put him with Daniel Garcia? They're both basically the same person. Just put them together in a tag team. Done. Call them Pick and Mix. Pick and Mix. This is a very dramatic video package. I was in the Appalachias picking up a load of telephone poles with my dad. We stopped at a diner. Dad ordered pork. I ordered burger. Dad said, I've seen pigs when we came in. I think I ate a person. It's a lovely little short story. Is it only 1 hour? It is only 1 hour, yeah. Top Flight was great. They were very good. Daniel Garcia and Dante Martin look nothing alike. They're basically the same person, mate. Honestly. I would even have to double check if they're not twins. Here comes Riho. Shola said, I didn't have high expectations for this. I found out that Goldberg's back at the Rumble, is he? Her record is 23 wins and only 5 defeats. She's got a 13-match win streak. The inaugural AEW Women's Champ, the first ever AEW Women's Champ. The Doctor will see you now. Britt Baker, D.M.D. She does feel like a big deal, doesn't she? I mean, if you want to talk star power, she's definitely got it. That's Britt Baker, D.M.D. with a Rebel. Jamie Hayter. Right, Britt Baker making her way down. So, Riho in the ring. Oh, Jamie Hayter just threw the belt on the floor. Why is she being a belt hater? Why is she being Jamie Belt Hater? What's going on? Jamie Belt Hater. Right, might as well end our poll. 887 votes. This is crazy. Here's my number. Don't bother calling. Right, we've got... starts the match. We've got a bell. We are underway. Britt Baker is in my top 5 all-time favourite wrestlers. Who do you think leaves AEW Women's Champion? We asked 800 with 2 fat ladies. 888. Britt Baker, that's 3 fat ladies, isn't it? 3 fat ladies. 888. Britt Baker, 67%. Riho, 32%. 32. So, kind of like 2/3 again. 2/3 people think it'll be Britt. 1/3 people think it'll be Riho. I don't think it is going to be Riho. I think it'll be Britt Baker. Right, Britt on the outside. Riho up top. Crossbody takes down Reba. Vape Ross Vape said, I tweeted me, at the WWE section at Toys R Us in Times Square. It was a ring, tons of merch, drink it in, man. I tweeted you. Did you actually tweet me? I'm going to have a look. Did you actually tweet me? Did you tweet me a picture of the Toys R Us section? Oh, you did? I'm going to show you guys. Toys R Us Times Square. There's a picture of Mr. Vape Ross Vape. Look at that. Look at that WWE section in the background. WWE Legends. So you can. That must have been when Mattel were taking over. One of their early lines, first lines, was the Legends line. But down there at the bottom, I can see Jax. I can see classic superstar Jax. So there's Jax on the shelves, but that Legends graphic would suggest, well, for a fact, Mattel have took over. I mean, they had that Legends line. Unless they stole that logo from WWE. Do you know what year that was? Was this 2010? Trying to see in the background. I like the ropes. There's definitely Jax figures there. What are them? Jimmy Hart. Look at them pictures as well in the back. I'm trying to look at them pictures. Look, you got Jimmy Hart. I can't make out who that is in the middle. The hell's that? This is really. I could spend ages just looking at this. I probably should be watching this match. There's a Triple H graphic. can't see any Mattel stuff, you know. It is all just Jax. Lots and lots and lots of classic superstars. Hundreds. If you want to have a look at that picture, I've retweeted it. If you want to have a little zoom in, it's on that. I've retweeted it. That's good, that is. I like that. Brilliant. Thank you for sending that. Britt's next feud will be Jamie Hayter. There's a possibility she'll turn on Britt tonight, or Britt turns on her. Right, how long we got? I've only got 9 minutes. Britt is the best current women's wrestler. Charles said you're not missing anything. Well, I'm back, Charles. I do not want a reputation of completely ignoring the show. I mean, I watched the first match. I mean, I was watching bits of the second match, but that second match just didn't grab me at all. I must say, this crowd are very quiet. Normally, you get like a red-hot AEW crowd. I don't feel like this is a red-hot AEW crowd. She's trying to keep Riho down in the middle of the ring. John, honey, shout out to you, my friend. Really appreciate the support. Hope you are well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're here for Dynamite. We're here for Rampage. Obviously, we do WWE as well. We're here for UFC. Let's go, Riho. D.M.D. chants now. London Askew. Hello, London. Hope you're well, buddy. London Askew. Eva Marie fan. I mean, you probably could take that away now, London Askew, if you want, mate. It's up to you. You're cool. Just saying, like, she's not around anymore, is she? Do you know what I mean? I mean, you don't need to have that in your name anymore. You can get rid of it. It's your call. It's up to you, mate. It's up to you. But you could get rid of it. Keep the London Askew bit, but the other bit, you don't need it anymore. She's gone, ain't she, bud? She's gone. So, probably change profile picture. Maybe change it to Serena Deeb. Be a Serena Deeb fan. London Askew, Serena Deeb fan. That's got a nice ring to it, hasn't it? That's nice. That's nice. I like that. London Askew, Serena Deeb fan. I'm just put an idea out there. You know, it's up to you. Do what you want. Days, how are you? I just got an Eva Marie figure. Oh my God, Jesus. It's worse than I thought. It's worse than I thought. And I'm happy. Well, that's all that matters, mate. Just wanted to say hi, and do you like my new name? Well, I'm just saying. I mean, you've always been London Askew to me, in all fairness. Like that is not a new name. But you don't need the Eva Marie bit. You don't need it, bud. This match needs more time. Is it not safe to chat using my real name? No, I think you're safe. You're safe, bud. You're safe. This is a safe space for everyone. Apart from London Askew, Eva Marie fan. It's not safe. It's not safe for London Askew. Can't be welcoming Eva Marie fans in here. Riho with the head scissors. Big boot to Britt Baker. William said, shall I use my real name? No. Your real name's probably John McDong or something. Against the ropes goes Riho. Holds onto that top rope. Nice drop toe takedown. 619. Boyaka, boyaka. 619. Riho Mysterio. Single leg Boston. Nice stretch. Bridge is over as well. Yeah, I mean, that looks really painful, in all fairness. What Riho is doing to Britt Baker there looks really painful. Defcon Prime, Eric DeRiggi said they said they'll stick with it if it goes past 9. Oh, did they? Oh, there's no need. There's no need. I don't think this match has got quite where we needed it to get to. Rebel is covering Britt. I mean, that's surely a DQ, isn't it? Reba covering Britt Baker. The ref didn't do anything. The ref just kind of stood there going like, I think this is fine. I think this is for that woman lying on top of one of these active competitors during this women's title match. I think that's fine. Forearm strike. 1, 2. Shoulder up by Riho. The glove. The sparkly glove. Against the ropes. Riho moves out the way. Couple of strikes coming in. Strike coming back by Britt. Oh, God, that was vicious. The way that she slammed down Riho there. Battling away. She's trying to get this lockjaw applied. And Riho gets the ropes. Riho sucks. I need the Eva Marie fan part. Do you, mate? Do you? Do you? I'll let you off today because you got a figure and you're excited. But I don't want to see it again. Reversed by Riho, who gets a 2 count. Shoulder up by Britt. Britt grabbing the hair of Riho against the ropes. Why did Riho, who was perfectly fine, why did Riho stay in that position whilst Britt went against the ropes? Why did she stay in that position? I don't understand. Like, she just kind of stayed like this. She was like curled over, just like waiting. Britt was like, right, stay like that. Okay. Yep. Yeah, now the referee tells Rebel that she's out of there. You're out of there! Rebel's like, no. Can't. Jamie Hayter. Knee to the back by Riho. Crucifix. Riho. Northern Light suplex. 1, 2. Shoulder up by Britt. Shoulder up by Britt. Did wonder if that might be the finish because, like, Jamie got in the way. Kick out by Britt. "60-minute time limit if needed." Kick by Stomp. Down goes Riho. 1, 2. 2 again. Gets her into the... She's going to get her into the lockjaw, though. And there's the lockjaw. And Riho taps. Britt Baker wins. Thank the gods. Thank God. I got scared. Dr. Britt Baker wins. Now they need to tease more tension with Hayter. Why does Riho pop back up after being super kicked? I don't know. That match was a bit all over the road, to be honest. Couple of nice moments. I thought when she pushed her into Jamie and then hit her with that Northern Light suplex, I did wonder then. I was like, are they going to do that? That was a nice little spot. Jamie and Reba are snatching around at the belt. Jamie gives the belt to Britt. They're all hugging. No, there's no tease of dissension. They actually all embrace in the ring. So there we go. There we go. Weakest AEW event yet. Battle of the Dark Elevation Belts. Battle of the Dark Elevation Belts. I must admit, I think that's going to hurt the future specials. I think that, now when they get to that next special, that next Saturday night show, I don't know how much excitement there's going to be for it, because I do think this one underwhelmed. I wasn't crazy about that first match. I'd probably say though that first match might have been the best match. Middle match just really passed me by. Main event struggled to get started. Couple of moments, but yeah, I must admit, not what I was expecting. Not what I was expecting, but let's see what you lot thought. What did you think of AEW Battle of the Belts? What did you think? What did you think of it? Did you go 8 to 10? Did you go 7 to 7.5? Did you go 6 to 6.75? Did you go 5.75 or below? Let's have a look. Let's see what you lot thought. Boom. Crowd went cold after Dustin versus Sammy. The show desperately needed the tribal chief. 6.384 out of 10. Underwhelming, said Rye. Logan said, are you streaming? Hard to kill it. Hard to kill it? Impact. It's hard to kill it. No. I forgot what the first match was. London Askew said 0 out of 10. There was no either. Jaina said the main event was awful. In fact, the show was awful in general. 5.25. Goncast said 4.5. Alex said, will you ever open that 4 Horsemen Hall of Fame pack? Nope. Never opened it. And it's currently up there. That was a hell of a bargain. That was at B&M, that was. And I think it was only about £14. £14 or something like that for the 4-pack. I've got the Heenan family one as well, which I'm very fortunate to have. Hard to skill it. Vape Ross Vape said 6. It was okay. Jeremy says 4 out of 1. J14 said 7 out of 10. Dylan said 7 out of 10. Airflow Games said 7 out of 10. Shoggoff said 7 out of 10. Not enough belt nor a battle. Root Beer Float said, do you think it's just a one-off Mickey James, or do you think Impact and WWE are really going to start a partnership? Impact wrestlers on WWE and WWE on Impact. I would say I am 100% certain that it's a one-off deal. There's not even a flicker of doubt in my mind. Normally, I like to say, I'm about 99.9, just in case. But on this one, I'm willing and prepared to go 100% that this is a one-off deal. Hard to Kill has been on for an hour. It's not just starting. God, I keep getting lied to. Why do I always get lied to? I think I got it from B&M, about £10. I'm sure I paid 14. So I'm gutted about that now. Tony said -3. Jilly said, I give a 6. Respect to Dusty and Sammy. Dynamite looks weak too, besides Punk versus Wardlow, said Jason. T-Man 4000 says 7.5. Dustin's age is still got it. The guy can still go. Carl said 6.9. It was worse than that, but I'm a child. When a 1-hour show is more boring than a 2-hour show, you've got problems. Mickey is a freelance person right now. Liam said, who won? It was Sammy Guevara, Ricky Starks, and Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D. 7 out of 10, aggressively average, says Esteban. I could see AJ Styles being able to go to the Impact Hall of Fame, said Alex. The show might have flown by under the radar. There was literally barely much hype to this show because TBS move overshadowed it. Shaquem said 4.9. Joel said AEW women's division are really lacking. I know this is horrible to say, but I see why they don't get as much time. A lot feel green and all over the place in their storytelling. Defcon said Impact has outlasted ECW in terms of how long they've been in business. Jaden said that show was like having an NXT special and the card being tag champs, women's champ, cruiserweight champ. Battle of the Belts, where was Hangman, the world champ. Dun, dun, dun. Right, we've got, you better do the D.M.D. days. I went D. I really like Britt, but I actually agree with Punk. I think she is the fourth pillar. I think she is. Sammy, and I think MJF's got to be in there as well. Darby. I think there's 5 pillars. There's 5. You can have 5 pillars. 5 pillars. I think you've got to put Britt in there. Definitely. So, yeah, I mean, like we were saying, it needs a bit of, like, star power, if you will. Sammy provides a bit of star power. That was right at the start of the show. And I think Ricky Starks and Matt Sydal, I mean, that just... It just happened, and it was a match that happened. And then, like, when Britt came out, it felt big time. So, she definitely provided that oomph that was needed. But, where are we? 168. Can we get to 200? We need another 30 votes. Can we get to 200? I don't know if we can get to 200. Might see where we are in a couple of minutes. We'll see if it's realistic. I'd like to try and get to 30 votes. 30 votes. Does Daisy's outfit match what the show's going to be like? A poor show is grey. Yeah. So basically, if I think the show's going to be bad, I wear black or grey. If I think the show's going to be good, then I wear bright orange. And fun fact, I don't own any bright orange shirts. But that, I think, is how you sum up wrestling in 2020 and 2021. It's like saying, yeah, it's like saying, when you do something good, I'll give you a green tick. When you do something bad, I'll give you a red cross. And fun fact, I don't own a green pen. So that's very much wrestling in 2020, 2021. Oh, it has shot up. We only need 14. Oh, we can do this. Malone's Family Circle said, what were the results? Britt Baker won. Ricky Starks won. And Sammy Guevara won. And there was brawls after the first and the second match, but no brawl after the third match. Chalmers said, why do you always disrespect my favourites? I'm starting to take it personally. Who's your favourite? Who did I disrespect that's your favourite? I mean, let me know so I can do it more. But who did I disrespect? Belts are for holding up pants. We call them titles round here. I don't think Britt Baker needs the title to grow anymore. 6 pillars. Arn Anderson's Glock deserves a coliseum. It deserves its own coliseum. Not a column, not a pillar, but it deserves its own coliseum. The secret has been revealed. Indeed. Do you think AJ Styles should win the Rumble? I don't mind AJ winning it. Hayden, shout out to you, bud. Defcon Prime, Eric DeRiggi said, NXT rumor, new title design on Tuesday. Ding, ding, ding. That's interesting. 200, yes. Root Beer Float said, are you or anyone in the chat excited for the new Scream movie? I love that franchise. I'm pretty excited for it. I'm not like crazy excited for it, but I've got an interest, I suppose. But I ain't gonna go to the cinema to see it. I'll probably check it out when it hits Netflix or something like that. Let's have a look, see what people are saying. People are split on this. People are split. I mean, for me personally, 29% of people said 6 to 675. 25% of people said 7 to 75. 24% of people said 575 or below. Below. And then we've got 8 to 10 with 19%. Honestly, my score, I think, would probably upset people. I'm probably down at like 4 or 5. I thought that maybe it's my fault for having like a really high expectation that this was like a special, and I thought there was a real opportunity to make a statement here. And I think when you look at the cards, you know, you had 3 title matches. One of them had Britt Baker in, one of them had Sammy in, one of them would have had Cody. The Ricky Starks one just makes no sense to me whatsoever. I just don't understand why that's even on this card. I feel like this show is like, it was a real opportunity to maybe grab some new viewers in a different time slot, a good time slot as well. I kind of feel like that. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand why this feels like one of their weakest shows. On a Saturday night, on a great time slot where I don't know what the ratings are going to be like, but that was going to be very interesting. Perhaps it's up against like a load of horrific competition, and they just know that it's just not going to do anything. Perhaps they already know this just is a dead show, or it's just not going to do anything. Because in all fairness, they have not built it. The build for this, I think, has been very underwhelming. It has been completely overshadowed by Dynamite's move, which is understandable. Dynamite's move over to TBS has been a much bigger deal. So I kind of think going into it, like, it felt like muted, subdued. And then, like, we actually get to the show, and I must admit, I thought there was, like, I didn't like Dustin, like, being out of breath at the start of the match, and Sammy just, like, not capitalizing on that. I mean, it's meant to be a fight. So, like, you know, if your opponent is getting worn down, if your opponent's, like, out of breath, why is Sammy going over to the corner and just lying there? Like, at that point, even JR's going, what is this? What are we watching? And I think, honestly, he's telling the truth. I genuinely think at that point, JR is like, what is this? And I think he's actually saying that. What is this? What are we watching right now? Because, like, it's meant to be a contest between two people. And I understand they're both faces, they've got respect for each other, but the bell has sounded. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've shook hands. Let's have a friendly competition. Like, if Dustin is out of breath, then capitalize on it. Capitalize on it. Don't go and have a lie down in the corner. So, like, there was, honestly, that first match had bits of, like, that in that just, I kept seeing, like, the kick out. I mean, there was, well, I can't remember, was it? I can't remember what he calls it. It's his GTS, isn't it? GTH or something. And, like, Dustin kicks out. You kind of go, what? Why is Dustin kicking out of that? Why is Dustin kicking out of that? Like, I could understand if it was the crowd were red hot and there was loads of, like, this is awesome chants. And then he kicks out of that GTH move. Then you'd be like, yeah, this is that needed to happen then because the crowd are right there and we just want that little bit more. The crowd were relatively quiet. The crowd were relatively quiet. The match, I didn't think was all that great anyway. And, like, he's hitting with his finishing move. Just wrap it up. Go home. Like, go home at that point. I think the only reason, honestly, that they carried on was because they had to do that table spot. So I think that's the only reason they carried on. So I wish they hadn't have done that Sammy finisher and Dustin kicking out because it just was not needed. So I think there was quite a few things in that match that I found a bit off, a bit irritating. So I wasn't massively into it. I did like the spot on the outside, but I didn't need the table spot, to be honest. It's a match for an interim title. Like, I didn't need a table being set up by Fuego, who appeared from underneath the ring like Dink. Do you know what I mean? Like Hornswoggle. Basically, AEW's version of Hornswoggle. Fuego just appears from under the ring, sets up a table. Like, they've got respect for each other. So Sammy won't attack Dustin when he's out of breath, but he will allow Fuego to set up a table so that he can drive him through it. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. The psychology is just wrong, and it's just wrong. So I thought the match was wrong. The middle match just passed me by. I even struggled to watch it, to be honest. I like Ricky Starks. He was quite good in the NWA. But I think that in AEW, he's just really forgotten about. Like, they put him in that group, gave him that title. He had that little feud with Brian Cage. And then he's just, I don't know what he's done. I think he's been living on Dark and Elevation. Like, I just don't think he's really done that much of note. So, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to get excited about Ricky Starks. I ain't that excited about Matt Sydal either. So, yeah, as I said, for me, this was a match that even when you saw it on paper, you were like, I wouldn't have booked that on this show. You could probably get away with it on Rampage, but this show feels like a big deal. Really feels like it deserved, some big matches. So, all you need to find is 3 big matches. But either way, that happened. And then we got to the main event, and even that seemed off. Like, big entrance for Britt Baker. I was like, here we go. Proper excited, proper into it. Let's go. And then it just sort of went through the motions. There was some nice moments in there, but way below what I was expecting. But some nice moments. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, all in all, I'm at about a 4 or a 5. Not because I'm an AEW hater or anything like this, but because genuinely I think it's one of the weaker shows I've seen from AEW. I think because of it being on a Saturday night and it being like a TV special, I had higher expectations as well. And I don't really understand why they've delivered a show like that, because they normally deliver like good dynamites. And you would think that this is like Saturday night, prime time, great opportunity to get some new people watching. I don't really understand how we've ended up with that show. I mean, general consensus from what I saw after, before we got to the scores, general consensus was, well, that was a bit underwhelming. It seemed to be what people were saying. So I was quite surprised when I was seeing a lot of 7s coming through. Because I kind of feel like 7's a pretty decent score, actually. Like 7s and like 6.5s. I think that's where the community are at. I get the feeling the community are like in the 6s to 7. Around that ballpark. I think for me, I'm low. I'm definitely lower. Definitely lower than that, because this, I would say 6.5 would be my average. This definitely underwhelmed compared to what I was expecting. And I think this underwhelms compared to a Dynamite, to be honest. So that's why I'm down more in like the 4 to 5 range. But don't know. It's one of them. It's just opinions, isn't it? And we move on. I think they've been on a great run at the moment. I think that doesn't help. I think, the fact that they've been doing some really good stuff recently means that, like, especially the Hangman Bryan Danielson match the other day, and like what Serena Deeb and Hikaru Shida have been doing, and, there's been some really good stuff. So I think, again, that raises expectation. The fact it's a Saturday night, the fact it's a good time, the fact it's the first TV special, kind of all raised the expectation, and yeah, maybe that was part of the problem. Maybe I'm part of the problem. I'm quite willing to accept that. So we'll have to see what they can do for Dynamite and see what they do next time. Daniel said, do you think this show was meant to be stacked, but they didn't know at the time that TBS debut was going to be in the same week, so they didn't have people like Hangman on the show? I don't know. I think the show wasn't too bad, to be honest. It's only one match that I think I've got a problem with. I think Cody versus Sammy is as good as what you could do. Cody versus Sammy has had a bit of a story, a bit of a build. Cody won the title from Sammy on Christmas Day. Like, I look at that and go, I ain't got a problem with that. Like, that's perfectly fine. And it's just unlucky that Cody couldn't make it. Like, it's really unlucky that Cody couldn't make it. So, it is what it is. I do think they should have chose a better opponent than Dustin, but it is what it is. Like, you can't do much about that. So I don't hold that against them. Riho, first women's champion, taking on Britt Baker. That's had a bit of a build. I don't mind that either. I just keep coming back to that Ricky Starks match. Like, I know it's not... You can't just look at that one match and say that's why the show underwhelmed. But I do think that it would have helped if that had a bit more star power. Do you know what I mean? Like, if that had a build and had... Because even that match just seemed to get thrown together last minute. So, it's not a match I was interested in seeing. Both competitors to me are quite cold. The FTW Championship just doesn't get defended. And so when you do finally get round to defending it, it doesn't feel prestigious. Like, wow, the title never gets defended and they're going to defend it now. It didn't have that vibe. It was just like, we need a match. Let's put on... We need a belt. It's called Battle of the Belts. We need a match with a belt. Let's defend the FTW belt. That's how it feels. That's how it feels. So maybe I think it would have definitely been better if it had been like a week or two away from the TBS thing. I don't know why they needed to do it this week of all weeks. But then saying that, this week there's no UFC. So it's a great opportunity because some of your fan base, because there is a crossover. That's look at Dan Lambert. There's a lot of people in UFC that have respect for wrestling. You know, look at Daniel Cormier, for example, Cain Velasquez, Brock Lesnar bouncing between the two, CM Punk bouncing between the two, Bobby Lashley, Jake Hager. There's a lot of kind of crossover between MMA and professional wrestling. And I suppose it's a good week where there's no UFC. So I suppose on the one hand, I look at that and go, I get it. But then on the other hand, I do agree that, yeah, if it had been a different week, I think the show would have been stronger. I think it would have been stronger because you could have got some more talent and you could have built it a bit better as well. So is what it is, though, innit? Is what it is. Right, guys, we're done. We are done. Big thank you for joining us on this Saturday night. We are back tomorrow on Football Days for the Premier. No, not the Premier League, the FA Cup. We've got Nottingham Forest against Arsenal, West Ham versus Leeds. And then on Monday, we've got Raw. We've got Man United, Aston Villa on Football Days as well. And then NXT on Tuesday. And, of course, AEW Dynamite on Wednesday. I'm quite intrigued by Punk versus Wardlow. I really can't get a read as to how that's going to go. So I must admit, they have got me hooked for Wednesday. I am intrigued in that match, so looking forward to it. But yeah, thanks for joining us. It was fun just chatting wrestling for a couple of hours on a Saturday night. Normally sat here talking UFC, so kind of fun that it was something a little bit different. But really appreciate the support, and hopefully see you again next time. Bye for now.